they would be in you for life.
You just can't get rid of them. You have no way of doing it.
So now that they are developing biodegradable nanoparticles, they've gotten around that little problem. But what about nanoparticles from industry and bombs and the wearing of jet airplane engines? They get into
aluminum.
Yeah, this gets into the air, and we've got to breathe it. And is it possible that there could be some immunological effect from this?
It is possible, and it's worthy of study.
So at the same time,
so they were doing the spraying during this time. Well, that you found a root cause. Sounds to me that's something that had changed during the 1985, 1984 time, and they were just trying to make their ski resorts better.
yeah.
Do you think that somebody covered this up, knowing that? Because did they ever do it again?
Funny you should ask. As soon as the CDC did their investigation, the illegal cloud seeding stopped, and the mountaintop seeding was still carried on. They still do that, but at a much lower level. But all the ski areas put in snowmaking equipment, and so far as I know, the illegal activity completely went away. And I always thought, well, that was interesting timing.
It's as if somebody told them.
I smell a cover-up on this one.
Interesting. So say that happened. So you're getting to the root cause of what caused this CFS outbreak. So the CFS is certainly a symptom of something that's a cause. The cause, you believe, is mold. Some kind of mold in conjunction with something that happened in the environment that made what normally is a black mold to something like a super black mold.
Well, it turns out that mold is a very efficient processor of nanoparticles. That if you give mold the ions, the silver ions, that it will actually manufacture, it will produce nanoparticles in high quantities. And since we know nanoparticles do have the ability to kill microbes, to affect bacteria, even kill other fungi, is it not conceivable that if a really powerful mold were capable of processing them without dying in the process, that it could spew out spore plumes that had especially pathogenic qualities to it? Something unprecedented, something unfamiliar, so that people who are familiar with mold, what mold could normally do, would see people getting sick in the presence of mold and going, well, that's impossible.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense because mold can't do that. Well, what
Unless
if mold?
It's a super mold.
Unless it's a super mold, or
So a new category of mold is what we're talking about.
or maybe not a new category of mold, but mold getting a hold of something and processing it
Supercharged.
is completely unfamiliar to scientists.
And so that's the idea behind the nanoparticle. And it's interesting that you would say it's nanoparticles when in fact, during the 1984 and 85 outbreak, they were indeed seeding illegally silver into the air in a nanoparticle form in order to create snow.
Yeah.
Which then all of that is going to end up in the lake right here. Lake Tahoe. It's sitting in it in a concentrated form.
Yeah.
Because the whole valley is going to rain, and it's all going to come off the mountains over time, and it's going to end up in the same lake.
And at this time, we've got enough circumstantial evidence to show that microbes were acting in a very bizarre fashion. That all of the sick buildings got worse simultaneously. And this was in the newspapers. And this baffled the researchers so badly, they go, well, then it must be a virus because there's no mechanism, there's no means for all these sick buildings to get worse all at the same time. And that was my question. What if there is? What if there was something that made the mold worse across this entire region? And when I looked at it
So this is a little microcosm of the idea of what if planes in the sky, their engines are breaking apart, right? At a pretty significant rate, where they have to retire these engines pretty fast, and they're all made out of aluminum.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And so they're spewing out these microparticles of aluminum into the air, and gee whiz, and that's happening worldwide now.
Yep. And if you look at aerotoxic syndrome,
So you do believe in the chemtrails?
no.
It's not as it. He's not saying they're doing it purposefully.
That's
So that's
right.
the difference.
Chemtrails.
Chemtrails are the
is-
government.
that's
There's
right.
a secret government official somewhere that wants to kill off the population, and so they're specifically putting something in the fuel
Right.
to kill everyone off.
Right.
Right. Whereas you're saying no, it's not that they're purposefully doing it, which makes sense, right? It's a unintended effect of the current way that we have developed these jet engines,
Yeah.
creating a nanoparticle that's literally being spewed. I mean, think about it, 1985, and it's strange that, you know, when I look into chemtrails, that idea, so say it was the unintended chemtrails, it seems as if something's changed since then. Almost like, I don't know, maybe there was a change in manufacturing and how they dealt with it. Maybe they built it out of steel back then, and now they went, let's go with aluminum instead, or I don't know. You know, that would be interesting to see.
Or it could be that the level of nanopollution in the atmosphere has finally hit a point